I'm the wrong bitch to hate on. Cause I try to prove everybody wrong. So if you don't want to see me win, you should probably fake act like a fan. Cause if I see that hate comment, I'm gonna try to make your ass eat your words.
You're gonna go harder.
I'm gonna go harder.
Do you yourself see yourself getting married?
Yeah, for sure. Lots of kids. I won't be rapping by then, so I can be like full-time mom and like have a garden in the back and like chickens and cows and horses and like 10 dogs. That's really in Jamaica.
Assuming the internet's correct about who the person is. Some people love being private. Where are y'all at with it?
The internet don't know a goddamn thing. Let's start there. I like being private. I think it ain't really nobody's business. Like, listen to the music and you'll know what you need to know.
Was it hard to write these songs about your personal love life?
When other people in the studio, yeah, because I get to feeling like a simp, and I'm so not a simp.
Latto just dropped her retirement album, Big Mama, and one song in particular has the entire internet convinced she's not just making music, she's sending a message directly at Cardi B. Let's break down exactly what happened, how we got here, and whether this beef is actually over or just getting started. To understand the Latto and Cardi situation, you have to go back a little further. This whole thing traces back to Cardi B and Ice Spice having their own tension. The two of them were going back and forth, and at some point a leaked audio clip surfaced of Cardi venting about Ice Spice. Now, that alone would have been enough to make headlines. But what really caught people off guard was the moment Cardi pulled Latto into it. In that leaked audio, Cardi called Latto out by name and said things that were more than a little shady. We're talking actual disrespect. Calling her out of her name and making it very clear she had some feelings about Latto that she hadn't been showing publicly. Keep in mind, Cardi and Latto were supposed to be cool. They had been respectful to each other publicly, been in the same spaces, and shown each other love. So when that audio came out and the world heard what Cardi was saying about Latto behind closed doors, the reaction was strong. Now, Latto also has her own existing tension with Ice Spice, though most people would argue that beef was really started by fans more than anything the artist did directly. But regardless of how it started, Latto's name being dragged into Cardi's Ice Spice rant made things messier than they needed to be. After the audio leaked and the internet exploded, Cardi B went on Twitter and issued a public apology. She said she was ranting and hot in the moment, that she rides heavy for Latto, that she respects everything about her, including her team. She said she wasn't too prideful to apologize to someone she genuinely respects. And then she said something that immediately became its own conversation. She promised to privately buy Latto a bag. Now, Cardi is the Birkin Queen. She's famous for her Hermes collection. So when she said she was going to buy Latto a bag, everybody immediately assumed she was talking about a Birkin. That specific detail went viral on its own. And in the moment, it seemed like Cardi was genuinely trying to make things right. Public apology, private gift, move forward. Seemed like the story was done. It wasn't done. Latto just dropped Big Mama. She called it her retirement album, which is a whole separate conversation. And on the album, there's a track called Give Me That. And when people listened closely, one verse in particular stopped everyone mid-play. Latto rapped about having a whole Hermes store in her closet. She talked about somebody offering to buy Big Mama a bag and said her partner already bought it, that her man already came off the racks. She said she's got big bank and big facts. There is no way to listen to that verse and not understand exactly who she's talking about. The Hermes reference, the bag reference, the timing of the album dropping after Cardi's apology. This is Latto's way of saying the apology was noted and the response is, I don't need your bag. My closet is already full. And here's where people are genuinely divided about this. One side says Cardi apologized publicly and genuinely. She took accountability without being forced to. She swallowed her pride and put it out there for the world to see, and she promised a personal gesture. In their view, throwing shots on an album in response to a public apology is adding fuel to something that could have been dead. The other side, and honestly this is the side that makes more sense when you really think about it, says that Latto doesn't owe anyone an acceptance of that apology, especially not in public. Think about what happened from Latto's perspective. She and Cardi were supposed to be in a good place publicly. She was showing Cardi love, and then a leaked audio reveals Cardi was talking about her in private in a very different way. That's not a small thing. That's finding out someone's been two-faced with you. And not just finding out privately, finding out in front of millions of people because someone leaked the audio. On top of that, Latto was pregnant when all of this happened, carrying a whole child while finding out publicly that someone she respected had been talking about her that way. Nobody gets to tell her how quickly she needs to process that or whether she has to accept an apology on someone else's timeline. People don't have to accept your apology. That's not a controversial statement. An apology is for the person who gave the offense to release their guilt. Whether the person on the receiving end chooses to forgive is entirely their business. Latto didn't go scorched earth. She didn't name Cardi explicitly. She didn't post a call-out on social media. She put her feelings in a song on her own album. That's the most legitimate form of expression an artist has, and using it to process something that genuinely hurt you is not messy. It's music. Now, the interesting angle that some people are raising is that this was also partly a business move. Album drops are moments. You want people talking, you want ears on the project, and a subtle shot at one of rap's most famous names is going to get those ears moving. That's not cynical, that's how music works. And the line is genuinely clever. It's not vicious, it's not a 4-minute diss track. It's a quick reference that says everything without going overboard. And that restraint actually speaks well of Latto. She's never been someone who goes back and forth on social media, or who blows things up publicly when she doesn't have to. When the Ice Spice situation was happening, she said nothing. When certain songs between her and other artists weren't promoted by one party, she moved quietly. Her whole brand is that she doesn't tweet, she doesn't bark, she raps. So one measured reference on her own album that lets people put 2 and 2 together, that's completely consistent with who she is. The question now is whether Cardi responds. Cardi B reportedly has an album coming later this year. And if there is ever a moment where she addresses this on record, that's when this whole thing escalates from a sidebar into a genuine rap conversation. Cardi has bars. She has a passionate fan base that is going to ride for her regardless. And if she gets in the booth and actually addresses Latto directly, then we're in different territory. But right now, what's worth saying is this. Latto is on a completely different level lyrically than people give her credit for when they talk about this situation casually. She already demonstrated when things got heated with Nicki Minaj what happens when Latto actually decides to rap at you. She made it look easy. And anyone who thinks Cardi responding to Latto in a rap battle is automatically going to go in. Cardi's favor is not paying close enough attention to what Latto does in a booth. That's not a knock on Cardi. Cardi is talented, and she has absolutely had moments. But Latto as a pure technical rapper is operating at a level where very few people, men or women, want to genuinely test her. And the smart people in this situation know that. For now, though, the real question everyone is sitting with is, did the bag ever actually get sent? Did Latto receive a Birkin from Cardi before the album dropped? And if she did, is the song still a shot? Or is it just Latto asserting that she never needed the gesture in the first place, regardless of whether it happened? Nobody has confirmed either way. And honestly, that ambiguity is doing a lot of work for this story. What we know is this. Cardi said something she shouldn't have said about someone she was supposed to be cool with. The audio leaked and it became public. She apologized and promised a gift. Latto dropped an album with a verse that is very clearly saying she doesn't need Cardi's gesture and she's not going to act like it didn't happen just because there was an apology. That's fair. That's human. That's what happens when someone who doesn't just roll over gets hurt and puts it in her music. Big Mama is out now. Give Me That is on the project. Go listen and tell me in the comments. Do you think Latto crossed a line responding on the album? Or is she completely valid? And do you think Cardi gets in the booth and responds? Subscribe so you don't miss the update when this thing moves to the next chapter.